Hey everybody, so glad to see you back with us today. We are moving into now Module 10. We're going to do a little bit of algebra. Yep, we're going to do a little algebra today. And so we're going to start off with an algebraic expression and working to evaluate that expression or work that expression out for certain numbers that we can plug into it. First, let's take a look at our algebraic expression. What we have as an expression is negative x minus 3y. Okay, so let's talk about that expression for just a quick second here. First of all, it's got two terms. The first term is negative x. The second term is negative 3y. All right? The x is what's known as a variable. In other words, it varies as to what number we could put in there. We can plug whatever number we like in for that x. So it varies. It's a variable. The y is also a variable. One other thing to recognize here is when we have a number in front of a variable, a number in front of a letter like that, the relationship that we understand to be true there is this negative 3 is multiplied by whatever that variable is. So we would read this negative x minus 3 times y, or negative x minus 3y would work. Okay, now what we've got here are a couple of values that we want to plug in to this equation and see how the equation works out. That's called evaluating the equation. So we're going to substitute the values in for these variables and evaluate the equation. So let's talk about our substitution. First of all, we're going to let the x be a negative 7. Now that's a little tricky here. Let's rewrite this. We've got negative x. Now again, we're going to let the x itself be negative 7. Now that's just the x. I'm going to put the parentheses around that. That's just the x. Now this negative still needs to come down because you have a negative in the expression that we're evaluating, and you also have a negative in the number that we're plugging in. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of this. It's minus 3y. So we'll come with minus, you see that here, 3. Now, because it's 3 times y, I'm going to put a parenthesis here to show the multiplication, and the value for the y is a negative 10. Okay, so we got this, and then here's my y. So you can see how I took these values, plugged them into my algebraic expression, and so I end up with this. Now, I'm going to actually evaluate this. I'm going to work this on out. Okay, so as I work this out, I'm going to notice these parentheses that are here, and I'd like to do something about them if I could. There's nothing inside the parenthesis, inside either one of them, that I could do. There's no work inside the parenthesis, and there's no exponents. But when I look in front of the parenthesis, I see here there's a sign in front of another sign. Remember, we called that a double sign. So a double sign that are the same there actually becomes a plus. So we'll get a positive 7 out of that. And then when I look in front of this parenthesis, I see a negative 3. So I'm going to take that negative 3 now and multiply it times that negative 10, which gets me a positive 30. Okay? Now one thing to notice here, I put a plus sign or a positive sign in front of that 7, but we do know that when we have a positive number at the beginning of a string of numbers, or a positive number standing alone, we don't have to list the sign. We don't have to list the sign of the number. We understand that that is actually positive. So now it's simply a matter of adding these numbers together, and of course my answer is 37. So that's just a quick look at how to take an algebraic expression, plug values in, and evaluate the expression to see what you come up with. Very similar to working with formulas in geometry, where you plug values in and work out the formula. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this little piece. You go to your practice problem, work on that, do 2 or 3 similar exercises with it, and work that out till you get comfortable with it. Use your calculator to check yourself if you need to, but try to do as much as you can without your calculator. It's good for you, like eating your vegetables. See you next time.